Your blood type may be influencing far more about your health than you realize, including the silent risks that could shape how you age, how your heart functions, and even the illnesses your body may struggle with later in life. And most people never connect the signs until it's too late. Before we go further, take a second to like this video and subscribe to the channel. I share evidence-based health information designed to help you protect your body before serious problems begin. One small habit of learning today may help you avoid major health struggles tomorrow. Now, what I'm about to tell you might surprise you. Your blood type is not a prediction of your fate. It does not guarantee disease, and it certainly does not decide exactly how someone dies. But research over the years has suggested that certain blood types may be linked to different patterns in inflammation, circulation, clotting, digestion, immune response, and even long-term disease risk. And when these patterns go unnoticed for decades, they can quietly influence the way the body breaks down with age. I've seen this happen too many times. Someone reaches their late 50s or 60s believing they're mostly healthy. They ignore subtle warning signs because they don't seem dramatic enough to matter. Mild fatigue, cold hands, occasional dizziness, brain fog, digestive discomfort, slightly elevated blood sugar, a little shortness of breath walking upstairs. Nothing alarming on its own. But over time, those small signs begin connecting like pieces of a puzzle. Most people don't realize the body rarely fails all at once. It whispers before it screams. And this is where blood type becomes interesting. Certain blood groups appear to interact differently with stress hormones, cholesterol levels, circulation patterns, and inflammatory markers. Some people may have a slightly greater tendency toward clotting. Others may be more vulnerable to metabolic problems or immune-related conditions. Some may process inflammation more aggressively after infections or prolonged stress. The important thing is not fear, it's awareness. Because once you understand what your body may be more sensitive to, you can make smarter decisions earlier. That could mean monitoring blood pressure more consistently, improving sleep quality before exhaustion becomes chronic, paying closer attention to blood sugar spikes, protecting heart health long before symptoms appear. The truth is, longevity is rarely about luck alone. It's often about noticing patterns before damage becomes irreversible. And as we continue, you may begin recognizing warning signs in yourself that suddenly make much more sense than they ever did before. One of the most overlooked connections between blood type and longevity involves the heart and circulatory system. And if you're over the age of 40, this is something you cannot afford to ignore. Most people think heart problems arrive suddenly. They imagine dramatic chest pain, an ambulance, or a medical emergency that appears without warning. But in reality, the body often spends years sending quieter signals first. The problem is that many people dismiss those signals as stress, aging, poor sleep, or simply getting older. I've had patients tell me they felt unusually tired for years before discovering serious artery blockage. Others noticed swelling in their feet, headaches after meals, or unexplained fatigue during simple daily activities. One man thought he was just out of shape because he became breathless walking to his mailbox. Another woman blamed menopause for her constant exhaustion and dizziness. In both cases, underlying circulation problems had already been developing silently. What makes this even more concerning is that certain blood types may naturally have different clotting tendencies. Research has suggested that people with non-O blood types may have slightly higher levels of clotting factors in the blood. That doesn't mean something bad will happen, but it may help explain why some individuals appear more vulnerable to strokes, deep vein clots, or cardiovascular complications later in life. And here's the frightening part. Poor circulation often disguises itself as normal aging. Cold fingers, tingling feet, brain fog, frequent headaches, feeling drained after eating, needing more naps, difficulty concentrating. These symptoms may seem harmless individually, but together they can reflect a body struggling to move oxygen and nutrients efficiently. What I'm about to tell you might surprise you even more. Chronic inflammation can quietly damage blood vessels for years before a person experiences obvious symptoms. And inflammation is deeply connected to lifestyle habits many people ignore every day. Poor sleep, high sugar intake, smoking, long periods of sitting, constant emotional stress, processed foods, lack of movement. These habits place continuous pressure on the circulatory system. Over time, arteries become less flexible, blood pressure rises, tiny injuries form inside blood vessels, and the heart is forced to work harder than it should. I've seen people spend decades taking care of everyone else while completely neglecting the silent strain building inside their own bodies. But this is where prevention changes everything. Daily walking can improve circulation dramatically. Managing blood sugar may reduce stress on blood vessels. Eating more fiber-rich foods, healthy fats, vegetables, and omega-3 sources may help support heart health as the years pass. Even hydration plays a larger role than many realize. Thickened blood from dehydration can place extra stress on circulation, especially in older adults. Most people don't realize longevity often depends on protecting the smallest blood vessels long before symptoms become severe. And the next warning sign I want to discuss is something millions of people experience every single day, without realizing their body may already be struggling internally. One of the clearest warning signs that the body may be aging faster than expected often appears in the most ordinary part of life. Energy. Not dramatic exhaustion, not collapsing from fatigue. I'm talking about the kind of tiredness people learn to normalize. Waking up already drained, feeling mentally slow in the afternoon, craving sugar or caffeine just to function, struggling to focus during conversations, forgetting simple things more often than before. Most people blame age, but sometimes the body is signaling something much deeper. What I'm about to tell you might surprise you. Blood sugar instability can quietly damage the body years before diabetes is officially diagnosed. And depending on genetics, lifestyle, stress levels, and even blood type-related metabolic tendencies, some individuals may be more sensitive to these fluctuations than others. I've seen this happen too many times. Someone says, "Doctor, I don't eat that badly." But when we look closer, their body has been under constant metabolic stress for years. Large meals late at night, sugary snacks during stress, processed carbohydrates replacing real meals, poor sleep disrupting insulin sensitivity, little movement during the day. Over time, the body becomes less efficient at managing glucose. And the frightening part is that the symptoms can feel incredibly ordinary at first. Blurred vision that comes and goes, dry mouth, frequent urination at night, sudden irritability when hungry, brain fog after meals, weight gain around the abdomen, skin tags, constant cravings. These signs are often dismissed individually, but together they may reflect a body struggling to maintain balance. The reason this matters so much for longevity is because uncontrolled blood sugar affects nearly every organ system in the body. Blood vessels become damaged, nerves lose sensitivity, the kidneys experience strain, inflammation increases. Even the brain can be affected over time. Many people don't realize high blood sugar doesn't just influence diabetes risk. It may also contribute to memory problems, heart disease, slower healing, poor circulation, and accelerated aging. And here's something even more concerning. Chronic stress can make all of this worse. When stress hormones remain elevated for long periods, the body behaves as though it's constantly in survival mode. Blood sugar rises more easily, sleep quality declines, hunger signals change, fat storage increases, especially around the midsection. This creates a cycle many people unknowingly live inside for decades. I've watched patients improve their energy not through extreme diets, but through small, consistent changes. Walking after meals, eating more protein and fiber, sleeping more regularly, reducing late-night snacking, drinking enough water, managing emotional stress more carefully. The body responds powerfully to consistency. Most people don't realize how much damage can be prevented simply by paying attention earlier. And as the body ages, there's another system that quietly begins determining who stays strong and independent, and who slowly becomes vulnerable without noticing it at first. One of the greatest predictors of healthy aging is not just the heart or blood sugar or even genetics. It's whether the body can maintain strength, balance, and resilience as the years pass. And this is where many people become dangerously overconfident. I've heard countless adults say, "I feel fine," while their muscles are quietly weakening, their bones are becoming more fragile, and their balance is slowly declining year after year. Because the loss often happens gradually, people adapt without realizing how much function they've already lost. They stop taking stairs as often, they avoid long walks, they sit more, they carry fewer heavy objects, they move more carefully getting out of bed. Little by little, the body becomes less capable, and most people simply call it aging. But what I'm about to tell you might surprise you. Muscle loss is not just about appearance or physical fitness. It is deeply connected to longevity itself. Studies have repeatedly shown that lower muscle mass and poor grip strength are linked to higher risks of falls, hospitalization, frailty, and loss of independence later in life. In many cases, the body starts weakening long before a person notices obvious symptoms. And certain people may be especially vulnerable if chronic inflammation, poor circulation, hormonal changes, or unstable blood sugar are already placing stress on the body. Most people don't realize the body needs movement the way the lungs need air. When muscles remain inactive for too long, metabolism slows, balance worsens, joint stiffness increases. Blood sugar control often becomes harder. Even the brain benefits less from circulation and oxygen delivery. The entire system begins functioning less efficiently. I've seen this happen too many times after retirement. Someone suddenly becomes less active because their daily routine changes. They spend more time sitting, watching television, resting indoors, and avoiding physical effort. Within a few years, energy drops dramatically, weight increases, confidence decreases, and the body begins aging much faster than expected. But there's good news many people never hear enough. The body can respond positively to movement at almost any age. Gentle resistance exercises, walking consistently, stretching, light strength training, gardening, climbing stairs. Simple daily movement sends powerful signals to the muscles, bones, heart, and brain that the body still needs to stay strong. And here's something many people overlook completely. Balance problems are often early warning signs. Feeling unsteady when turning quickly, grabbing furniture while walking, hesitating on stairs, needing support getting up from chairs. These small moments may reveal declining muscle coordination and nervous system function long before a major fall happens. I've watched older adults completely change their quality of life by improving strength gradually over time. Better posture, better energy, more confidence, better sleep, better circulation. Most people wait until weakness becomes obvious before they act. But the body is often asking for help years earlier, quietly, patiently, and consistently. There's another silent factor that may influence how long and how well a person lives, and almost nobody talks about it enough. Chronic inflammation. You cannot always see it. You may not feel it directly. But inside the body, inflammation can slowly affect the heart, brain, joints, blood vessels, digestive system, and immune function for years before obvious disease appears. And what makes this especially dangerous is how normal the symptoms can seem. Persistent fatigue, joint stiffness in the morning, frequent headaches, digestive discomfort, puffy fingers, skin problems, trouble concentrating, poor sleep, mood changes. Many people experience these symptoms every day without realizing their body may be under constant internal stress. Most people don't realize inflammation is not always caused by one major illness. Sometimes it develops from years of smaller pressures stacking on top of each other. Highly processed foods, excess sugar, smoking, chronic loneliness, poor sleep, emotional stress, lack of movement, repeated spikes in blood sugar. Even unresolved stress and anxiety may contribute to inflammatory responses over time. I've seen this happen too many times. A person focuses only on treating symptoms while the underlying strain on the body continues building quietly in the background. What I'm about to tell you might surprise you. Some researchers believe certain blood types may react differently to infections, stress responses, and inflammatory triggers. Again, this does not determine destiny, but it may partly explain why some individuals appear more sensitive to certain chronic conditions than others. The immune system is incredibly complex. When functioning properly, it protects the body. But when inflammation remains elevated for years, the body may begin experiencing wear and tear much faster than expected. This is one reason lifestyle habits matter so much more than people think. One poor meal will not destroy your health. One stressful week will not ruin your future. But repeated habits over decades can quietly reshape the body from the inside out. And the brain is not immune to this process. Many adults fear memory loss as they age, but few realize that poor sleep, inflammation, uncontrolled blood sugar, high blood pressure, and inactivity are all connected to cognitive decline. The brain depends heavily on healthy blood flow and stable metabolic function. I've had patients tell me they thought forgetfulness was simply a normal part of aging, only to discover their sleep quality was severely affecting brain health. Others improved concentration and mood after addressing blood sugar balance and physical activity. The body's systems are connected far more deeply than most people realize. This is why healthy aging cannot rely on a single supplement, a miracle food, or one medical test. Longevity is often the result of many small protective habits working together over time. Better sleep, more movement, less processed food, stress management, strong social connections, regular checkups, hydration. These may sound simple, but simple habits repeated consistently can shape the direction of your future health in powerful ways. And there's one final truth many people avoid thinking about until life forces them to face it directly. One of the hardest truths about aging is that the body often gives us opportunities to change long before serious illness appears. The problem is that many people keep postponing those changes because they assume there will always be more time. I'll start walking next month. I'll eat better after the holidays. I'll schedule that checkup later. I'm probably just tired. I've heard these words from patients for years, and sometimes those delays seem harmless, until the body finally reaches a point where it can no longer compensate. What I'm about to tell you might stay with you for a long time. Many of the conditions people fear most in later life develop slowly and silently over decades. Heart disease, type 2 diabetes, stroke, kidney problems, cognitive decline. These issues rarely appear overnight. They often grow quietly beneath everyday routines. Most people don't realize the body is constantly adapting to how we treat it. When sleep is poor, the body adapts. When stress remains high, the body adapts. When meals are overloaded with sugar and processed foods, the body adapts. But adaptation is not the same as health. Eventually, the strain accumulates. And this is why some people seem to age much faster than others. Even at the same chronological age, you've probably seen it yourself. Two people in their 60s can look and function completely differently. One remains active, sharp, energetic, socially connected, and independent. The other struggles with exhaustion, mobility problems, chronic illness, and memory decline. Genetics play a role. Blood type may play a small role. But daily habits often shape the outcome more than people realize. I've seen people improve their future health dramatically with surprisingly realistic changes. Not perfection, not extreme dieting, not punishing exercise routines, just consistency. Walking every day, sleeping on a regular schedule, eating fewer ultra-processed foods, managing stress before it overwhelms the nervous system, drinking enough water, maintaining muscle strength, keeping blood pressure and blood sugar monitored regularly, staying socially connected instead of isolated. These habits may seem ordinary, but they create powerful protection over time. And there's another emotional reality many people rarely discuss openly. Loneliness itself can affect health. Humans are not designed to live disconnected for years. Chronic isolation has been linked to stress, depression, inflammation, poorer heart health, and even cognitive decline. I've watched older adults decline rapidly after losing purpose, routine, or meaningful connection. Longevity is not only about extending life, it's about protecting quality of life. Being able to think clearly, walk independently, enjoy family, wake up with energy, feel emotionally grounded, continue participating in life instead of merely surviving it. Most people wait for a health scare before appreciating how valuable ordinary health truly is. But your body is listening to what you do every single day, and the choices you make consistently over the next few years may influence far more about your future than you currently imagine. So when people hear a title like, "Your blood type predicts how you die," fear naturally takes over. But the real truth is far more important and far more empowering. Your blood type is not a sentence. It is not a guarantee of illness, suffering, or early death. What it may offer instead is insight. A reminder that every body has strengths, vulnerabilities, and patterns worth understanding more carefully. Most people don't realize longevity is often shaped quietly, long before disease is diagnosed. It's shaped in the grocery store, in sleep habits, in stress levels, in movement, in hydration, in the decision to finally schedule a checkup instead of delaying it again. And perhaps most importantly, it's shaped by whether we listen when the body whispers. I've seen this happen too many times. Someone ignores warning signs for years because they feel manageable. Mild fatigue becomes severe exhaustion. Slightly elevated blood sugar becomes diabetes. Occasional shortness of breath becomes heart disease. Small daily habits slowly become major health outcomes. But I've also seen the opposite. I've watched people in their 50s, 60s, and even 70s begin making small changes that transformed how they felt physically and emotionally. Better energy, improved mobility, more stable blood sugar, better sleep, clearer thinking, more confidence in their future. The human body has an incredible ability to respond when given support consistently. What I'm about to tell you may be the most important message in this entire conversation. Prevention rarely feels urgent until it suddenly becomes necessary. That's why awareness matters now, not later. Pay attention to your circulation. Notice changes in energy. Take blood pressure seriously. Don't normalize chronic exhaustion. Protect muscle strength as you age. Prioritize sleep. Reduce constant stress where possible. Stay connected to people who give your life meaning. And please remember this: health is not built through fear. Fear may grab attention for a moment, but daily habits are what shape the future. The goal is not perfection. The goal is to give your body the best possible chance to remain strong, clear-minded, independent, and resilient for as many years as possible. Because in the end, longevity is not only about how long someone lives, it's about whether they can continue enjoying the moments that make life meaningful. The conversations with family, the ability to travel, the freedom to move without pain, the joy of waking up with energy and purpose. Your body has been communicating with you your entire life. The question is whether you're finally ready to listen. And if this video helped you see your health differently, take a moment to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and share it with someone you care about. Sometimes one piece of information, heard at the right time, can change the direction of a person's future in ways they never expected.